What's up, y'all? It's your girl, Icy Mona, and we're back for another review of Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 3. Now, before we jump into things, you already know what to do. Go ahead and scan that QR code to get connected to me, or click the link in my description to get directly to me. All right, y'all, so let's get into it. So in the first scene, we have Brittany, and she is having a family dinner for her husband. So it's actually his side of the family. They got a professional chef there. Her assistant is being like the waiter for the night. They got what, lobster tails, scallops. It looks really nice. So they're sitting there having the dinner with his family, and basically his sister is asking them, when do they plan on having kids? What's the moves with their future goals. They end up going downstairs and having a separate conversation. And in the confessional, this when we really get to know Brittany more. We find out that she actually is has two sisters, but they're kind of in a weird space right now. When she started her insurance agency, she included them in it, but with including her sisters in the agency, I think that's when the relationship just started to kind of differ and not be as close with each other. She also mentions to us that her father passed away in 2015 and her mom didn't have a life insurance policy on him, so they had to do a GoFundMe, and that's one of the biggest reasons why she did her insurance agency. And we also got to know more about her dating life. So apparently, she had been a video vixen since high school. And I'm not going to lie, that is some crazy work. Like to say that you were that girl in high school in videos, probably the most poppin' videos, and you're only like 16, like that's honestly pretty cool. And that's when we found out she dated a lot of rappers and athletes. She actually dated Rick Ross. I'm like, what? Okay, so she dates the Bala, but she said while dating those type of men, she realized she couldn't be a wife, and that's why she likes her now husband because he's a lot more chill and more husband like, a real man in her words. So yeah, I don't know. Something like I said about her husband is a little off to me. He seems a little on the sassier side, but maybe he's just an awkward person. Because he definitely was coming downstairs talking about some, are y'all gonna come and get the desserts, the cheesecake or whatever? Like you see them having a conversation. But anyways, she's just talking to the sister about basically him and like, how they've been and them moving forward. And then in the next scene, we surprisingly get Portia and we get Kelly. They meet up to clear the air. And Kelly's basically telling her that the way it came off wasn't how it sounded, that she genuinely was kind of joking around, even though she wasn't joking, but she was just like, oh, why'd you steal that lady's man? Like it wasn't her being a mean girl. And she told her that Shamia said at her party to go up and ask Portia, like, hey, like to address her. And Portia just doesn't believe that. She was like, why would Shamia have her do that while I'm going through this divorce? Why would you have Toto or Toto? Why would you have her come up and address me? So they're gonna actually probably be an actual okay duo now that they've like cleared the air. They made a little joke with each other, and she's like, "Oh, you're not my troll anymore. You're my treasure troll." And also, by the way, they were at Lock and Key, and she had this strawberry Hennessy drink. Portia did, and it looked hella good. All the food looked good. They had what, some fried catfish over like mashed potatoes. That restaurant, that looked really good. But anyways, so they basically squashed their beef, low key being fake with each other, and just cleared the air. So in the next scene, we get Drew, and she's currently in the studio singing her little heart out. And who comes to the studio? We got Kenya, we got Angela, and we got Cynthia. They come and visit her at the studio. So after Drew hops out of the booth, the girls are sitting back, drinking some tea, chatting, catching up. The first question that comes up is Kenya asking her, where's Dennis? Here goes Drew trying to act fake, trying to sip her tea and spin around. Like, what? Like, I don't even talk to him on the phone like that. We only just text. They show a snippet of her on the phone with him. Like, girl, stop lying. But anyways, Kenya asked Drew about the whole situation with her and Portia, and I'm not gonna lie, I agree with Kenya and Cynthia. They held her accountable. They told her straight up that she was dead ass wrong, and she is. here goes Drew. She's over here trying to defend herself by saying, I tried to reach out to Portia multiple times to ask her about Dennis, but she was always busy and blowing me off. And literally, Cynthia said in her confessional, like, so you're telling me even though Portia was out living her best life, you couldn't pick up the phone and call her? Like, come on, be for real. Like, that does seem shady. And Cynthia even brought up a good point, too. Kenya had booked her baby daddy, or first, I'm sure they were married first, but her first husband, Leon, for one of her troll events. But before booking him, she literally hit up Cynthia, asked for her blessing, got Cynthia's blessing, and boom, bam, everything was cool. So there's no reason why Drew couldn't literally send a voice message, call, or just simply text, hey, I wanted to ask you if this is okay if I work with Dennis. So they held her accountable. Kenya definitely pushed the lines though by saying that everyone's looking at you like you're a whore. Like Cynthia said, ho, maybe whore, that's a bit much. So then we get Angela, and she tells them about the whole blowout with her and Shamia at the whole gym thing from last week, and how Shamia was getting very defensive, and they were just going back and forth, back and forth. We also got a little insight about her and her husband. It was kind of funny because she had said that they met and they lived in the same apartment building, and she had that front desk concierge on lock to see what was he doing, where he at, who he with, and how many times a week. So that was pretty funny. But it ends basically with Drew saying that at the day after of Shamia's birthday party, Portia hit her up, basically saying that, we need to talk. So that's up in the air right now. Once they have that conversation, we'll see if they'll be cool, or you know what? It may be an end of Go Naked Hair and Drew promoting it. So in the next scene, we got Shamia, and she is sitting there with her two older sisters. And basically, in this scene, she was just giving them their props and giving them their flowers. They've been helping her out a lot with her two children, especially with her going to the hospital with her youngest daughter, Shiloh. She said the middle sister actually has lupus. So the fact that she was able to put her own things aside and really help out, help pick up the other daughter and do what needs to be done around the house was very helpful. I felt really bad for Shami in this scene because she was saying how, last year she was going through a lot with Shiloh. And then this year, she had the ectopic pregnancy and her being in the hospital. And now the oldest daughter may have to have her tonsils removed. And I think something else removed as well. So she just feels like it's never ending. But it's good that she has her sisters there to lean on and to help support her. So in the next scene, we have Angela, and she is at one of her properties, and it looks really, really nice. And they show the before pictures of, the building process. So a lot has been accomplished. Her husband meets her up there. Them two are just talking, discussing about renewing their wedding vows. And he's kind of like, eh. He wants to focus on basically rebuilding these houses and getting that fixed and situated. And she also shares with us that back in 2017, they had a really rough patch. And there was also a time where he had got kicked out of a club and it made like headline news. And I think he got arrested, and they had to take a momentary pause and break because he needs to go through his own healing. And she really wants them to get into couples therapy, but he's talking about he don't want to spend no $3,000, and he said he feels like after going for a certain amount of time you should get 20% off. And this scene, I'm like, okay, because he kind of rubs me the wrong way, but I could see why she likes him, because he is kind of like sarcastic in a little way. And then the next scene, we get Drew, and Drew is going to her divorce lawyer, and this is where we really get the tea about Ralph and all that he's done. So basically, their divorce has been going on now for a year and a half. They filed back in 2023. And the reason why it's still going, she said, is because Ralph will not turn over his financial documents. That's another reason why he's sitting in the basement. Because he basically told the judge and the lawyer, whatever, that he cannot afford to have a new place and pay on the old place. So that's why the judge made the whole decision, okay, y'all can be separated, but separated inside the same house still. And one thing that her lawyer tells her is that basically her divorce case is right now sealed, but it will be unsealed. And Drew asked, well, what does that mean? It's going to be unsealed. And she's like, well, everything that you have put out about why you're getting divorced will basically be out in the public, which contains him cheating, him sexting other girls hitting up Drew, him following her and tracking her. What else did they say? They said some other crazy stuff too. So we get a little bit of tea about that. Drew starts crying because she's basically saying how, like this affects the kids because we know when this drops, public information like that, that means we, the public, can hear too, meaning that the kids are going to be like, wow, dad's wildin'. So I do feel bad for Drew, no lie. In the next scene, we get Portia and her mom. They're going to get a massage for their feet. And basically, she was talking about how her mom has obviously been a support to her through this whole divorce situation. And she's talking to her mom about the divorce and saying how, it's different this time because she's going through it alone. At least with her first divorce, they went through it together, but Simon has completely dusted her. And her mom was even saying how she felt like uh, Simon was her protector. That's like, she genuinely felt that way. And the fact he's acting this way now is kind of a little bit like, wow, it just shows a different light. Another thing Portia brought up is that in his culture, so he is, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but Benin, but in his culture, like the American way you do it, you get a divorce. But in his culture, you can talk to the family, talk to the pastor, talk to whoever to try to work things out. And she said that she reached out to his younger cousin and reached out to his pastor, and they basically dusted her off too and said they want to do it the American way, just y'all go through your divorce legally. So that kind of made her very upset. And then she starts telling her mom about Shamia and the whole Shamia and Kelly situation. And her mom was over there kind of looking at Shamia sideways and basically told her to watch her back and be careful about the dog who carries the bone. Because her mom's point of view is like, why is she trying to tell you about these girls who are talking about you and being negative when you already are going through a negative situation in your life? And in one end, I can understand where the mom is coming from, but at the same time, I really do feel like Shamia was truly having her back and was basically trying to have her not be blindsided because she literally told the girl, hey, if you want to talk to her about it, you ask her. So I don't think Shamia was doing it in a disrespectful or like haterish type of way, but we can see right now that Portia is low-key gonna probably try to flip it and make it seem like she was being like on some like shady-ish. Also, there was a scene too with Shamia. It was very quick, but Shamia taking her daughter to the hospital, she can have her tonsils removed, and it was so cute because you see, well, not her having her tonsils removed is cute, but her daughter was actually excited to go to the hospital. She was like, "Hey!" in the backseat, hella lit, hella juice. But it was cute because when she went to go have them removed, they had a scene where it was her and her husband, and literally he had been standing up the whole time and had not sat down at all because obviously his baby is in the hospital. I thought that was so sweet, like, oh, like caring parents. But yeah, so in the next scene, we finally get Kelly's Mommy and Me event, and it was a collaborative event with Balmain. So all the girls came out to the event and they brought their daughters out. It was very cute. The event was meant to raise awareness for OI, which stands for, I'm probably pronouncing this wrong, but osteus genus imperfecta, aka known as brittle bones disease. So she said that three of her daughters actually have this, so that's why the event is the proceeds, 10% of the proceeds will go to an OI charity. Now, that's all the cute stuff and nice stuff. Let's get to the tea because they got a real low key little ratchet at this event. So they're all there. They're all meeting up, linking up with each other, talking. And one of the main things that happens is that Angela decided she wanted to kind of clear the air with Shamia. She went over to talk to Shamia, and Shamia did not receive it well. Shamia basically told her straight up that she did not want to talk to her. Yes, they got off on the wrong footing, but she don't care to talk to her. And then she clowned her on her nose. She literally said that she had a 1999 nose, called her a Latoya Jackson. It was crazy. I'm not gonna lie. She low key clocked the tea there. I can't lie to you because when Angela put on them sunglasses, she for surely did look like Latoya Jackson. I'm not gonna lie to you. But in response back, Angela called her Flava Flav, and she said the reason why in her confessional, she said the reason why she called her Flava Flav is because she's the biggest hype man and the loudest one in the room, and she's always hyping up Portia. So they had their little dispute, went back and forth. The girls kind of separated. I forgot who called Shimmy out, but they were like, "Why are you going for physical looks?" And Portia stepped up and was like, "Well, she called her Flavor Flav, so it's tick for tack." I mean, it is tick for tack, I guess, but she didn't have to do her like that. And she literally, here goes Shamia. Does anybody have any glue for her nose in case it comes back up? I'm like, oh my gosh. And then after that little shenanigans happens, Drew decides now is the perfect time. Mind you, Drew's with her older sister. She decides now is the perfect time to go up to Portia and ask her if they want to, have their talk. So she goes up to Portia and starts talking to her and was like, "Hey, are you like ready to talk?" Portia starts fake coughing and was like, let's do this another time." And Portia in her confessional was like, Drew kind of came up like she had like, like a backbone in her. And she was like, and then I turn around and then I see her sister, Heavy D. Like, I'm not gonna talk to you, your sister's there. And I totally agree with her. Because then Drew in her confessional is making it seem like, well, she said she wanted to talk and now she doesn't want to talk. You know good and well she means talk privately, just you two. Why would you do it there at an event? And I am glad Kelly did call out both girls, Angela and Shamia, because she was like, y'all is acting kind of ratchet at this nice event. Y'all could have done this in the parking lot. And on top of that, their daughters are there too. So that was kind of a little bit tacky for them to be going back and forth. The Latoya Jackson comments and the Flavor Flav and just the cattiness and pettiness. But honestly, I was here for it. So that was the end of the episode. If you like this review, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe and follow your girl for next week's episode.